Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on September 6th, 2019. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll get started with our calendar here. So in terms of the data here, we did have ADP excuse me. We did have the ADP non-farm employment numbers here. That came in above expectations, as well as the non-manufacturing PMI numbers came in above expectations. So that actually pushed the equity markets higher. And then we had a drawdown for crude oil inventories. And coming up here, we have employment numbers or average cash earnings, as well as household spending from Japan here. That will have an impact on Japanese yen. And then coming up tomorrow here, we have bulk of data here is in the US session here. We have employment numbers out of Canada, as well as the main event tomorrow here will be the non-farm payroll numbers. So yesterday evening, I believe it was, we heard from China that US and China were going to meet in October. So that was positive for the equity markets, as well as we saw positive non-manufacturing data or numbers come out for the US. So all of that was positive for the equity markets. However, if the numbers here, if the numbers for non-farm payroll come out negative tomorrow, that could have a negative impact on the US dollar as well as the equity markets. So just to keep that in mind. And then we also have Fed Chair Powell speaking here. Last time Powell spoke, he didn't really give any indication as to when the interest rate cuts would happen again. So if he changes that, or if he talks about further interest rate cuts or the timing of the interest rate cuts, that would be negative for the US dollar, but positive for the equities. So do keep that in mind. So let's go on to our charts now. We'll start off by taking a look at our euro dollar. So yesterday we had a bullish candle close here, and we were looking for euro to go up. We got that move up, but since then euro has dropped because we saw positive data come out of the US. So today we have a doji here. The doji here, the tip here, or the tail, I should say, shows the rejection of the previous level here. So this is bearish overall. So here I would look for price to maybe pull back here. We could see price go all the way into 1.1065 level potentially. And then I will look for a move lower from there. So basically, I'm looking for price to go and retest this previous support resistance level here. And if it stays below that, then I'm looking for a drop here in the euro dollar. Now, if the numbers come out negative for US tomorrow, so the non-farm payroll numbers come out negative for the US tomorrow, then we are likely to see US dollar drop and, like I said, equities drop as well. So, which means that euro dollar would then go up, and all the dollar crosses are likely to go up against the US. So just keep that in mind. Non-farm payroll numbers are market moving, and we're likely to see US dollar crosses move across the board based on the numbers here. So bias here is bearish. First target would be 1.10. Second target would be 1.0970, the base of this candle. So bearish bias here for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, this is looking bullish here. So British pound has this optimism right now because of the parliamentary vote, and we saw that the the moves that were put forward by Boris Johnson were actually declined. So Parliament voted and for a no deal or to get away from no deal Brexit, so to block it. And as a result of that, British pound has been very, very bullish. So sentiment is positive for British pound here. And as a result, we have seen British pound move up. So bias here is bullish. Now we could get a bit of a pullback here. So I would look for a pullback into 1.2280 level. And if it holds above that, then I would look for price to go back up higher here. So that's the level that we are watching. Now, if it does break below this level, then price could move all the way into 1.2220 or 1.2180. So basically back into this support resistance level. So keep this in mind. Overall, though, bias is bullish. So as long as price holds above a 1.2280, I will look for price to move up higher. And in that case, the first target is 1.2380 back into this support resistance level. And then next target would be 1.2250. Sorry, 1.2450. So first target 1.2380, second target 1.2450. So bias here is bullish for pound dollar. Aussie dollar here, this one is into resistance. So we do have a bullish candle here, but price is into resistance. So I think this one could drop. Now, like I said before, if the non-farm payroll numbers come out negative for US, so that will have a negative impact on US dollar. So all the US dollar crosses except for dollar CAD are likely to go up. So for now, though, bias here is bullish, but because this is into resistance, I think this one could drop here. So watch out for that. I will look for price to retest the high of today. If it doesn't go through, then I'm looking for price to drop. And in this case, the first target here would be for 0.6750, second target 0.6680. As we have talked about this before, price is right into the resistance here. And if price does not break through the high here, then we're likely to see a drop. And as we saw here, there was a bullish candle close here. And then we see that price has gone and tested this again. But if it doesn't break through, just like it didn't break through here, if it doesn't break through today's high, then it's likely that price will come back lower towards the middle of the range here and then the bottom of the range. So for now, bias is bearish here for Aussie dollar, even though we have a bullish candle close. New Zealand dollar, this one as well, I would say the bias is bearish here. Again, I would look for a retest of the high. So we could see price go all the way into 0.6400 and then looking for price to drop further. 0.6340 here would be the first target. And then I'm looking for price to drop further if it continues on into 0.6280. So overall here, bias is also bearish, but do look for a retest higher. Dollar CAD here, this one is interesting. We did see a drop here in dollar CAD, but then prices moved up. So we have an indecision candle here. This is a completely neutral candle with pins on both sides and a small candle body. So bias is neutral here. And this one could move in either direction. So we could see price go up higher. And if it stays below 1.3250, this is the bottom of our range here. If it stays below that, we are likely to see a drop, or we could see a drop towards the bottom here. And if it holds above, then we're likely to see a drop here. So price can move in either direction. But if the non-farm payroll numbers come in positive, this one is likely to go through here, and we could see price move back into the range here. So bias for dollar CAD today is neutral. Silver here, a big move to the downside, and this was basically started because of the comments out of China or news out of China that US and China we're going to meet in October. So like I said, that is bad for safe haven assets, and that's why safe haven assets dropped. So now we have a bearish candle close here in silver. So our bias is bearish here. This is quite a strong sentiment to the downside here. Now, if the non-farm payroll numbers come in positive for the US, we're likely to see the US dollar go up as well as the equity markets go up, which means the safe haven assets are likely to drop and risk assets are likely to go up, like the euro and the pound. But gold and silver and Japanese yen, all of these would be weaker as a result. So here, based on the candle close here, looking for price to drop here. In terms of our pullback, let's zoom out a bit. Okay, so in terms of our pullback, we could get a pullback into 18.85 and then a potential drop from there. So bias here is bearish. And in terms of the target here, we're looking for 18.30 as the first target and then 18 as the second target. So for silver, bias is bearish. Gold here, this one is bearish as well. We had talked about the high of the range here, and right away price dropped as a result of the US-China trade talks announcement. So this one is bearish engulfing here. So bias is bearish, and I will look for price to drop further. Now we could get a pullback either into 1521 or slightly higher into 1526, but bias is bearish here. And should things stay the same and the US dollar or non-farm payroll come in positive, we're likely to see this one drop here as well. So looking for a bit of a pullback into 1526 and then drop. So first target is 1505. Second target is 1492, which is back into our support area here. So bias for gold here is bearish. Oil here, this is looking bearish here. We have seen price go up, but that's a pin bar here. So there's a big rejection from there. So looking for price to drop here. Now we could get a bit of a pullback into 56.50 or 56.75. And then I will look for a drop. So something like this here. And then a further move to the downside. So the targets here will be to the downside. So again, for our pullback level, 56.75 or 56.50, and then looking for a drop, 55.20 will be the first target, and then 53.70 will be the second target here for oil. Copper looking very bullish here. We are back into the top of the range here. So this is looking bullish right now, but we are into a resistance level, a strong resistance level. And if we take a look here, price was quite bullish here, but then it turned because this is an important support resistance level. So same thing here. If price does not break through today's high, we could see a reversal. But should we see price go through, we're looking for 2.65 as the first target, and then 2.68 as the second target. So bias is bullish, but only after we see move beyond our resistance level here, because this is a strong support resistance. If it doesn't get through, it can just drop. But should it go through, then I'm looking for a continuation higher here. So for now, bias is bullish, but with caution. Bitcoin here, a very, very small move here, but it seems to be pulling back. However, it's still holding above this previous level of 10,250. So as long as it holds above that level, we can look for a move higher. But once we see a drop through this level, then we're looking for price to come back into this previous level at 9260 here. So by first 9680, then 9260. So those will be the two levels here. But first thing is to see if price holds above 10,250, then we're likely to see it go higher. S&P 500, like I said, the equity markets were super positive today because of the announcement initially around US and China, trade talks to continue. And then after that, we saw positive numbers come out of the US, which were all good for the equities market. So bias is bullish here. I will look for price to move up higher here. And the target is, the first target is the high of today, 2980, then 3010. So bias is bullish for S&P 500. DAX, NASDAQ here. NASDAQ is looking bullish as well. We have gone through the resistance here. So bias is bullish. First target is 7930. And if price goes higher, we're looking at 8,000. So 7930 and 8,000 will be the two levels to the upside. In terms of a pullback, we could get a pullback into the high of the range here, this previous resistance that could turn into a support. So keep an eye on that, but overall bias is bullish. First target 7930, second target 8,000 for NASDAQ. And then we have DAX. This is also looking bullish. We have seen price move up higher. Now it is into resistance, so keep that in mind, right into this previous support resistance area. However, bias is bullish. 12,250 will be the first target, and then 12,300 is the second target for DAX. FTSE here, this is the only one that actually dropped here. So bias here is bearish. It's back into this range here. So looking for a bit of a pullback and then a drop here. So bearish bias here for our FTSE. So 7220 is the first target. And then we have second target of 7160. And last here, we have Nikkei. So bias here is bullish here. And in terms of our target, 21,280 is the first target. And then looking at 21,400 as the second target. So bias here is bullish for Nikkei as well. So that's it for today. You guys have a great trading day tomorrow and a wonderful weekend. And I'll be back again with our weekly analysis on Sunday. Bye for now.